Venice was the envy of Europe. It was called Serenissima, the most serene city, partly because of its wealth from its trade in silks and spices from the east, but even more because of the stability of its governance. And its artists flourished too. They took the northern invention of painting with oils and brought to it their sense of the mystery of the Orient. Venice's great gift to the story of painting was a unique understanding of the ravishments of color and the glorious subtleties of light. These were great geniuses. Titian with his drama and splendor, the mysterious Giorgione, and the man known as the father of Venetian painting, Giovanni Bellini. Bellini's Virgin in a Meadow. And it sounds so tender, and of course it is. And our eye looks with such pleasure at this young girl sitting there with the light gleaming on her white headgear and that marvelous deep blue of her gown and the pink underneath. And then, and it gives me a shock every time, on her lap, is that a dead baby? No, very pale, but asleep. And that shock, that jolt, is exactly what Bellini wants to give you. Because that was how the dead Christ was laid on his mother's lap when he did die, taken down from the cross. And this picture is foreshadowing that and reminding you of that. Once you've been alerted to the fact that there's more here than just a pretty image, you begin to see all sorts of meaningful details. Behind, where the great white bird fights with the snake, the aggression that we meet with. And the two men, in their country occupations, those dead-end jobs, endless labor, endless monotony. And behind them, the great castle, the city of fear, with its walls, protecting itself. And it's in that world that the Virgin sits, not so much in the meadow, but on the meadow, like a great blue marquee. And it's all unified, all made one. Both the little details and the great figure by light. For years, Bellini held the position of official painter to the rulers of Venice. But there was a young man who was to become the greatest artist the city ever produced. Titian was a prodigy, and he knew it. When he was still in his 20s, he wrote to the city authorities demanding to take over from the venerable Bellini as top artist in Venice. Nothing stirred the imagination of the brilliant newcomer more than the pagan myths of the ancient world, which the Renaissance had revived. Venice was alight with stories of the old gods: Bacchus, the god of wine and festivity; Apollo, the god of music; Venus and winged Cupid. Young Titian's paintings of the ancient revels entranced a city whose own carnivals could go on exuberantly for weeks. This is the young Titian at his most wonderful. It's one of the great stories of myth, how Ariadne saved Theseus from her father's hatred. They fled together, and they spent the night on the island of Naxos. And when she woke up in the morning And you can see she's just awoken. She isn't fully dressed yet. She sees on the horizon the white sail of her lover. He has abandoned her. And it's in that moment of intense anguish and despair that suddenly she hears from the forest the sound of music, and the god Bacchus comes leaping out from his chariot to rescue her. Bacchus has come with all his train of strange, surreal creatures. Somebody not in her world at all. In her world, she's been betrayed. But there's something else. There's miracle, there's hope. There's that other world, the dream world, the magic world, which Bacchus represents. He is the god of ecstasy after all. And that's what the painting's all about. That wonderful moment when suddenly we're rescued from utter misery to joy. The person hopelessly in debt wins the lottery. And you'll see that she doesn't show any emotion at the moment. She's too staggered by the wonder of what has happened. And I think that Titian felt a special empathy, a special likeness to himself in the way that young, beautiful figure leaps in all his vigor to rescue his beloved. And he not only rescues her, takes her out of the humdrum into his world of wonder and excitement, but he twirls his hand and he makes a crown of stars for her. And in a way, isn't that what the artist does? Saves us by taking us into the magical world he inhabits, twirls with his finger and makes us stars. Young Titian had a rival who, had he lived longer, might have taken the crown for himself, Giorgione. Every now and then, art takes a completely unexpected twist, and Giorgione was one of those twists. He brought something new to painting, something we've never lost. Up to now, no one had ever painted a picture of which one couldn't be reasonably sure of what the theme was. But not with Giorgione. There's always an element of mystery. Who is that soldier brooding in the storm? Why is the gypsy woman naked? We'll never know. This is one of the most argued about works in existence. Giorgione is a bit of a mystery himself. We know that he came from Castelfranco outside Venice, and it's said that he delighted in love and music and could sing divinely, but we really know practically nothing about him. He died young. Some say of the plague, some say of a broken heart. It's fitting that one of his finest paintings is in his hometown and was commissioned after the untimely death of a fellow townsman. Matteo Costanzo was a young soldier who died of fever. His family asked Giorgione to paint an altarpiece to go above his tomb. The figures look down, grieving, the Madonna and Child, and the two saints, St. Francis, the man of peace, Liberale, a stand-in for young Matteo. Before we go any further, I must tell you that I love this so much. I find it so overwhelming that I'm doing it, even though it's got those nasty bits of white stuck all over it. But in a way, this proof that the picture needs restoration isn't a bad thing, because restoration is all about time and loss. And this picture, though you can never explain the Giorgione, is about time and loss. At first we just see pastoral beauty, a sort of haunting sense of an undisturbed world. Then if you look closer, you can see that on this side, the tower is shattered. It's either been shattered by time, which shatters all of us, or it's been shattered by war. And on the other side, there in that springtide meadow, two young men are sitting talking, and from head to foot they are armored. These are two young soldiers resisting the forces that destroy all human life unless we're careful. This need to be careful, to protect yourself, symbolized by the armor, was something Giorgione was intensely sensitive to. But where are we in this picture? It's too material to be heaven. There's the floor and the throne and the damask wall, but it's clearly not the real world either, which is behind us. And the throne is so exceptionally high. It's as if there's an in and an out. Two worlds that somehow coexist in a way we can't quite explain. That's the special thing that Giorgione brings. It's daringly new, because you can't explain that throne. But it's daringly right, because we respond to it, to the poetry of it.